Welcome to another 99 Club market update on September the 4th. Sunday after the market closed on Friday the 2nd. Markets are closed tomorrow for in the US anyway for Labor Day holiday. So let's catch up on some individual stocks. You've already had a separate video on the overall market update for the trend. Let's look at AMBA. Yes, we had an earnings. Well, the earnings actually weren't that bad, but it didn't react that well to them anyway. However, still intact, upwards trend, and also I was in at this level anyway, so I'm still in profit. But here's one. I mean, it's not ideal, but I'm not bailing on this one just yet. Let me just go to my 20-day. I look at the 20-day more because I'm being more cautious in the current market. So I've added the 20-day average here, which is kind of like, it's a little bit sensitive. You can't read too much into it, but it is kind of like an outer line of defense I look at sometimes when I'm being cautious. And high-flying stocks, like the ones I'm looking at right now, tend to stay just above it. And you can see there, it's just buying. It didn't close at the bottom of its range. Buying came in, and it's at this kind of like a little support level there. And as I say, I'm still in profit, but I'm not. I'm gonna just ride it out, and I can still see the uptrend intact. In fact, if anything, you can see it might have even bounced off of that. So I'm going to draw the line there on this one at 64. And which will still give me a comfortable profit, remember, because I was in down here. So I'll call that a stop loss there at 64. But I don't know. I think this could carry on. AMAT, and I was in around down here, 26ish, 27. We had this nice gap up here, and it's holding its own very nicely up there around 30, which I want it to hold and push into a new box there. So that's looking very good indeed. WB, now a similar idea. We had the steps going on. They had this nice gap up here, and this is really looking very healthy. Look at all these big buying volume spikes there. This stock is being purchased in large quantities, and that's what's keeping this going. So I was in around 33. Got a very healthy profit now. I'm going to lock that profit in at say 44. But if this gets above 50, closes comfortably above 50, so about 51, that'll have entered a new box, and I may even add more to the position. So that's been very successful indeed. During the week, based on what I said last Sunday, a couple of opportunities cropped up that allowed me to enter in MKTX. Mentioned this last weekend. Let's see what I think this was 26. I said about this, and it came back into range quickly on that Tuesday actually, and allowed me to get on board around 166, which was the level I said to get in at, which it was around 166. I think 16, something like that. I haven't got it at hand. But here's where I was in. And because that was the top of a new box, like 165 was a new box, and then up it pushed, and going very well indeed there. MKTX, and also the other one was Soda, which allowed me to get in, but then turned down a little bit, but it's still in this box here at around 28. So I'm going to do a stop loss here on this one if it closes at 27. Very tight stop loss indeed. On that one, but it's potentially a very tidy little stock, that one, pushing upwards. In the Make Mum a Millionaire portfolio, I have IART, and this one has been it's still very much in the upwards trend. It had a nice close on the Friday. I think the new box on this one was about 86, so I'm hoping that's really comfortably 87 and a bit there. Really made it into that next box upwards. The upwards trend very intact there, looking healthy. So that one's fine. HSKA was one that allowed an entry, but then since realised that this one was not available on IG Index, which is a bit frustrating. Not to say that won't happen another day later, but not reason. But you can buy stocks or options and things. But again, look at the upwards trend on this one. It's clinging to that 20-day line beautifully. So any way you look at it, any way you want to trade it, that is a nice stock. Let's look at Dicom, which has been the problem child. There's always at least one. So I was in around here and it went down and then it looked like it was going to go up and then it stayed down. But I did last time identify this line of support here around 80, 82-ish, something like that. I was getting a bit lower here around down there, but then the next day just pulled back up as I was about to sort of close it out, to be honest. The next day it shot up again and then up it goes. So giving it the benefit of the doubt, see if it can push higher from there. Its upwards trend is, depending on which way you look at it, you could still look at it as being intact. Not an ideal picture, that one. So let's hope it can push a bit higher. If not, the stop loss is still intact on that one, which I say is going to be around 80. So if it closes around there, but that one's open to opinion. You could take a loss or let it ride, take half a loss, let the rest ride. That's that's a personal preference thing. You can't win them all, and this one was an oddball for sure. In fact, if anything, you hear any professional, great, legendary traders over the years, they'll you perfectly expect to lose half the time. It's about containing the losses and riding the winners as long as possible. But I think you'll see that my average is better than 50%. That's for sure. Let's look at the gold situation. Gold, the actual metal, as I identified last time, was just clinging on to support there around the sort of 124, 125 zone here. Looked like it was getting a bit close for a bit there, but it bounced right off of support. So that's a very healthy picture for the actual metal. And the miners, represented here by GDX, for all the miners that I might talk about, followed suit and bounced up higher after getting quite low there. I did say actually last weekend when I could see it was here, I did say that I want to see a bit more support here before diving in, and that was a good call because it ended up going down lower. So what remains to be seen here in the gold patch is, look, the metal's looking fine, but can the miners, which are kind of lead the way, what's going to happen here? Because it depends on how you see this picture. You could see this as healthy correcting upwards action, but you could also see this as like a pullback before turning down further. So it depends on how you see that. If you saw this as support around here, for example, this could just be a pullback before turning down again. So I was still sitting on the sidelines. I took a small hit on Newmont Mining, whatever. But I'm playing the bigger picture here because at some point this is going to be a nice entry point for gold and gold miners. Metal itself, I'm not going to trade the metal just yet because again I just want to see a little bit more stability here, see what's going on. One thing I'm looking forward to though is the September the 21st, when everybody is wondering whether the Federal Reserve in America is going to raise rates. I can say 99.9% certain they are not going to raise rates before the election because they're Democrats, and that's going to mean that there's going to be a nice little flutter there to play gold, because I think as soon as that announcement is known, gold was going to fly upwards. So that is all for this week. I'm not going to have any new trades because if you look at my market update, you'll see I'm getting increasingly cautious now. The market is overbought. Whether it's going to keep on going upwards or not, I don't care. A lot of distribution has gone on, and we're getting into what is maybe a volatile month, September. So I don't want any new trades to come on board because new trades are vulnerable because they don't have any profit in them, running profit as a cushion for any losses. Particularly the Make My Millionaire trades, which I'm being ultra cautious on. In fact, if anything, I want to see this IART just keep on pushing higher in that regard there. So that's all for this week. Let's see what happens this week, because as I say, the situation is getting, the coil is steadily getting, tighter and tighter wound. Markets, even healthy markets, don't go up and up and up forever. But as I look at the other video on the overall market direction, and let's see how those levels hold there on the NYA. Meanwhile, though, we've got some good trades open that keep pushing higher into profit territory. And you could either, if you're just starting out, you could either paper trade or just try a small bet. You can trade with the IG index. You can trade for up to 25 pence. Or if you're watching from the sidelines, and that's also a good experience too. We are entering a time though when it's going to be a little bit might be a little bit dicey. Definitely the risks are going to for a little while might get increased. So that's why I'm going to look at the metals and commodities and currencies as well. But that's something we'll look at next time. Speak to you then.